In the kitchen, a set of dark cabinets dating back a half-century hung over a filthy porcelain sink filled with trash. The black and white linoleum on the floor peeled and buckled in several spots. Noise echoed up from the basement and pulled him toward the open door that led to a wooden set of rickety stairs. He climbed down into the basement. The ceiling and ductwork were low and only inches higher than his 6'3" frame. In the far right corner, he found the uniformed officer and a forensic technician who was aiming her camera into a small room. Novak moved toward the tech. In her mid-20s, Natasha Warner was short and slender with dark hair pulled into a ponytail. He'd worked scenes with her before and knew she was sharp and ambitious and cut no corners. Novak fished latex gloves from his pocket and worked his large hands inside them. "Officer Warner," Novak said. Natasha turned and lowered her camera from her angular face. "Detective Novak." Novak nodded before stepping past her into the small room. The air was dry, but there was no scent of rotting flesh. "Natasha, what do we have here?" Her gaze sparked with keen curiosity. "A woman who was locked in this room, which was probably a root cellar at one time. By the looks of her clothes, I'd say she's been here around 25 years. 25 years? Novak pulled dark-rimmed glasses from his pocket and slid them on as he accepted a flashlight from Natasha. "Were you born 25 years ago?" Natasha glanced in her viewfinder. "Barely. You?" "Very funny," he said. The forensic technician looked like a kid. Natasha Warner couldn't have been much older than his daughter. Frequent workouts kept Novak's body trim, but the glasses and the flecks of gray at his temples gave away his approaching 42nd birthday. Lying on the floor were skeletal remains of a body appearing to be lying on its back, arm and leg bones outstretched. The mandible, or lower jaw, was slightly agape. The clothing was intact and amounted to what remained of a faded pair of jeans with yellow and white flowers embroidered on the pockets, and a pale blue blouse with a wide collar and cuffs. What had been the victim's long red hair remained partially intact and still knotted into a braid that draped over her shoulder. "You said female," he said. "Clothing is one clue, but the deciding factor is her brow ridge. It's thin, indicating female." "She's only bones." In Virginia's hot and humid climate, this kind of decomposition is expected, and she's intact because she was in a sealed room. Animals would have scattered her bones if she had been outside. Novak studied the position of the arms and legs. "She looks posed. Or she did it herself," Natasha said. "I worked a suicide once that was like this. The woman took a couple handfuls of pills and then laid herself out on her bed." "Presenting herself to the Almighty?" Novak asked. Natasha shrugged. Her husband said they'd argued that morning and she'd promised to show him. He said the suicide was an FU message to him. The summary struck a sharp nerve. His late wife had killed herself, but she'd not chosen pills. That was too passive for Stephanie. No, she'd driven her car into a lake. The kicker had been that she'd strapped Bella, their 1-year-old, into her car seat. Fortunately, someone had seen Stephanie's car plunge into the water. Bella had been pulled out as Stephanie screamed and fought to be left alone. The lake had quickly sucked under the car, and by the time Stephanie had been pulled out of the water, she was dead. 2 days later, a letter from Stephanie posted the day she died had arrived at their home. In it, she blamed him for her dark moods and miserable life. At the time, he'd been too damn angry to care about why. She'd tried to kill Bella, and that was unforgivable. His father had moved in with them, helping with childcare, while Novak worked. From then on, his priorities had been simple: raise Bella and catch bad guys. She'd been an easy kid, smart, funny, strong. His father had passed 2 years ago, and when Bella